do like share these ideas. So I figured we go ahead and start recording. A couple of things we've already talked about is marketing. And we have the notes and I can send those in the chat when we're talking. And then a few other things we've also talked about are quilting design variations, kind of the different ways and styles that each of us have done. And so far, that's kind of where we've gotten. Usually I have a presentation and I forgot. So today we like the main topic is going to be borders, but we can always deviate and people can ask questions. But my first thing is, who of y'all does borders? And do you
Like add borders to the, yeah, I think I have almost on a pretty good bit of them. I've added borders, I feel.
For
Anybody
me,
else
it
like
just
to do borders?
depends. Yeah, for me, it depends on how many shirts I have, how
Yeah.
big it is. Yeah. Yeah.
I love borders, but it just is what the customer wants most of the time. It's always an option.
Have you found, so does anybody not do interfacing?
I
I
don't use
don't.
it.
Yeah.
And so with the
It's a
borders,
mixed
Except for
bag.
these nightgowns, they have
Yeah.
to have it.
that's what I was going to ask. I'm like, do
Yeah.
you feel like having the borders helps it stabilize it a little bit better?
I know back in the beginning, I used to sew a border on when I would put it on the long arm, just so that it would stay. But I did it enough that I don't do that anymore. Probably haven't done it for 6 years, and I just got familiar enough with it and working with t-shirts and being able to just keep it square as I go, that if it doesn't have a border, it doesn't scare me.
Wait, Tracy, back that up. You sew it while it's on the long arm. That's impressive.
No.
Oh,
No, I'm just
okay.
saying I stopped adding. I would add just a cotton strip when I used to load it onto the long arm
Okay.
when I was very first doing it, and I don't do that anymore. I mean, if there's a
Okay.
border on it, great, but if there's not, it doesn't.
When you do the long arming, do you float it or do you roll it on?
I do roll.
Okay.
I float mine.
I
Yeah.
float as well, but I didn't know if based on if you didn't do the interfacing, if rolling would be probably better. But yeah, okay.
I honestly think a lot of what I do is because I didn't know any better, because I didn't, even join a t-shirt quilt group till 4 years ago during COVID, and realized I was probably doing everything wrong.
Oh no.
And so I just kept doing it because they keep turning out, and I think they're
I was gonna
great.
say, I think
People
that's
keep coming back. So
the beauty of t-shirt quilts is I think so I interface, there's a lot that don't interface. It's like a mixed bag. There's like whether you add borders, whether you stable, like there's a lot of different variations. And I think that's the beauty of it is there isn't a right or wrong. I don't think or
for
I
sure.
oh, sorry, I'm not the quilt police, but I have that perception of I personally don't do borders and I personally interface, but everybody has different ways and it's whatever works for you, which I think
For
is
sure.
the best.
And every quilt's different. There might be some blocks that do need interfacing in a certain quilt, and I'm not opposed to that. I've used it for pleats or funky fabrics, but yeah, for the most part I don't.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say about the borders is I'm finding that I wasn't charging enough between my either whether it was a checkered style / tile style, if I would add borders, and I wasn't charging enough. And so I just recently redid my prices so that I had a big difference between quilts that had borders and didn't. So has anybody else found that to be something that they might have done the same thing too? Or, I mean, like, do you have a big difference between those prices?
Yeah, I'm still trying to like get charged correctly. I mean, I still feel like I undercharge and it's like difficult, and I look at different people's price points and I try my best to match that, because I don't think it's good to not have for someone like if I'm doing it and I'm not taking the industry into consideration, I really don't like that. Like even people thinking that, you know, a custom quilt is inexpensive just because I'm having a difficult time with it. But I think that's a good point because I do feel like that on some of them where I add borders or if I have sashing and different things, then how do you, you know, charge? Do you do the material, like do you put that on top of how much the t-shirts are per shirt, you know? And for this one with the nightgowns, I don't even know how to do it just basically because like so much fabric and stabilizing all of that fabric was a lot, but it had to be done.
Right. Is anybody else? I can give my ideas, but I was like, anybody else? What do you guys kind of? You have
So I
suggestions?
think, yeah, I was gonna say, I think what you described, Amber, was you just have to get it done, right? So once you get it done and you can do a retrospective and be like, oh, I should have doubled the pricing on that one. Now I think I always take those ones as now I have an example. Like if you want one like this is what it cost. And you yourself
Oh,
know.
that's a good point.
Does
Yeah.
that make sense? So yes, I have been burnt probably on a few too many of ones where I was like, ooh, I should have done that one at a higher price point. But now in retrospect, if you ask for sashing, if you ask for borders, if you ask for really crazy intricate stuff, totally fine, I could do it, but it comes at a cost. And I think coming up with that, but I keep using those as examples of like, if you want one in this chevron style, it's going to cost you. And at least here's an example of one I did. So I did one, I wove ties together. It was really intricate. It was really, really a lot of time consuming. With that, somebody just asked me, how much is this? I was like, for a queen size. And I was like, well, I said, well, the wall hanging one is $1,000. And then they're like, oh, okay, I'll get back to you. They're never going to get back.
Yeah.
So just FYI, in case you ever get to that level of where you feel like you're getting burnt, at least now you have an example, and then you can quadruple your pricing because you're like, I did this once before.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree. I'm like Amber, I definitely underpriced and I'm working on that. But each time I make a quilt, I end up going up on the price for the next set. So each time I make one, I say, okay, well, I know I needed to add this. This takes this amount of time. And then I just increase every time. So that's just how I've been doing it. But I still know I undercharge.
Yeah.
So we actually had two people come in and I thought maybe we can just quickly pivot and then introduce them and then we can go back. And I think we have Chroma Quilting and Kat Carter. If you want to just say where you're from and then a little bit about you, that would be great.
I guess I'll start. I'm Chroma Quilting. I'm still trying to figure out how to change my name, at least to have my name with that. But I am in Lawrence, Kansas. And I had a few plumbing. I had a plumber here, so I couldn't join at the right time, but I'm glad to be here. So this
And
is
what's your first name?
my space. What's that?
What's your first name?
Amanda.
Amanda.
Amanda Czar.
And are you talking
Yeah.
about changing your name on the Zoom thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
and
so it
yes,
says-
somebody showed me how to do it too. So if you like hover over your picture and then the 3 dotted horizontal lines, when you click on
Yeah.
that, you can go to rename.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Amanda. It's nice to have you on here.
Thanks.
Kat,
Nice to be here.
would you introduce yourself? Oh, wait, you're muted. I don't know if you're talking to us, Kat. Oh, I know who Kat. I don't know if she hears us. Is that, you do hear me? Okay, so she's in my neck of the woods. Can I introduce you, Kat?
She's
Yeah. Okay, so she's in Wilmington. Okay, maybe we'll wait. I don't know. There she is.
Okay, I
There you
didn't
are.
know that there was more things to click on. Obviously the kids did this, when they were in school, but I haven't ever done it. I just yelled at them while they were doing it. I was eating, and my daughter keeps calling me from college because this is her last week. And so I guess all her friends aren't available to talk to, so it's me all day long. So my name is, technically I go by Kathy, but because of the internet and I was lazy, I started just typing out K-A-T, and so everybody calls me Kat. And then my business name turned into Cats Out of the Bag. So that increased the opportunity for you to call me Kat. I answer to both now, since it's been maybe 15, 20 years that people have called me Kat because of the internet. Because I did it like long time ago. Like I would, like when AOL was around, I would sign everything Kat because I was too lazy to put Kathy. Like that doesn't even make sense, right? But whatever. I am in this neck of the woods. I am in Wilmington, North Carolina. I've been doing it, I think, about 10 years now. I am on the more prolific side. I have been going through some little like mental things right now. My sewing machine went down. My new one is not my favorite. So it makes me go like, I don't want to. And I don't know where we started with the pricing. I am against the per shirt philosophy. Personally, I just am. I am on the square inch philosophy. And so I don't know if you guys are aware and seeing a lot of the stuff. Like I even do paper piecing. Like I paper piece your clothes. I paper piece your neckties. I paper piece your underwear. I literally have a pair of underwear that has to go on the next quilt. Yes, it is 4T, but still that means she peed and pooped in it and the parent cut the crotch out. So if you have to cut the crotch out, you probably shouldn't have sent it to me, but that's just what I'm saying.
Kat, you are the goat. I tell you what, you are the goat. I admire you so much.
So this is my and this is how I work it out. Okay, listen, we should do one on advertising, like totally just do one, and I will talk the shit out of it. Excuse my mouth because it's gonna sound like this the whole time. You have to look busy to be busy. That's like my number one thing. You have to look busy to be busy. So if you follow me on Instagram, which I don't get any business that way, but I do it anyways, on Facebook and stuff, I post almost every single day, and sometimes more than one time. And I will post all kinds of parts through my process. Jill, you've been doing the little reels, which looks really exciting, but I don't know if I have the commitment, like the physical commitment to do it. But
you can
like
do it, Kat. You can do it.
But I can see it. I can see the
and
potential.
if you're a prolific quilter, you're probably sewing a lot. You just have to have it just randomly videoing, and then you just like compile all these videos together. It's so easy.
Yeah. I'm making 100 a year. So like I'm up to 8 a month. That's what I booked this year because my daughter was in college. I thought, somehow I was going to magically do that. And if it weren't for the sewing machine breaking down, I would have been fine. So yeah, I do agree that sometimes you get burned. You put out a quilt. The first time I did that double wedding ring quilt, I think I did said $600 or $700. Like I thought, I'll price it at a baby clothes quilt. Yeah, no. That bad boy is over 12. It's double that price. Now at this point, it's close to double that price. Paper piecing for things. Yeah, that sometimes I go, it's not that bad. It's only going to be 25 blocks. And then, I'm here 4 hours in later, or 4 days in later. And so, yeah, you just kind of, I have like tiers. That's how I look at it. So like I have like a standard baby and then a complicated baby. And then I call it my embroidered level. Because anything that needs to be embroidered is like at that same level of, I don't really want to do this. So I'm going to price it so much that you don't want me to do it. I did that today. Listen, okay. I'm also anti anything bigger than a twin for baby clothes. And I will tell you why. And you can tell all of your clients the same thing. I don't care. You can copy it out of me. Would you sleep under a blanket from your mother-in-law made out of your spouse's baby clothes? Would you put that on your bed?
Yeah. Well, and
No,
also
probably.
it's heavy.
Well,
so I avoid that. We appreciate it. Everybody knows you. Like,
sorry.
Yeah.
I did mean to come to the last one, and it was like 2 hours later. I was like,
it's all right. It's okay. So yeah, so we actually did talk about marketing, and I did put the Google document, and I would love for you guys to even add. I just need to change it to edit, because marketing is changing all the time. And so that's definitely a subject we'd like to come back to in a few more months, because it is changing all the time. And as Angie said, and when you're prolific, sometimes it's a little harder to like sit down, but it's not too hard if you can get maybe your kids to help you.
Yeah,
So,
mine are all
Right.
gone. So-
yeah. So there was another question I had. I'm just going back to here. So if you do borders, and do you try and like help your clients like ease them into colors that look nice, or do you just let them pick or whatever? Kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that.
I have 6 colors that they can pick from, and they can let me know. I just did one with sashing with lavender, and it was like a lot of bright primary colors. I'm like, this isn't gonna work. You know what? It worked out amazingly, and it looks so stellar. So it's one of those things of sometimes I know that all these colors can be intermixed with any of them, and I think I just have a standard 6, and it works well. I used to be like, here's the Kona Cotton color card, pick one of the 365, and then they go into analysis paralysis, and then they're like, oh, I don't know. And then they come back to me 2 days later and like, I want to switch the color. And I'm like, no. So I have removed that. And I used to use, at one point, I used to use the Kona colors. Like I'd be like Kona ash. Now I say light gray, because I'm having a hard time right now. I don't know about you guys, getting my Kona colors in. A lot of times I'm struggling. I have a wholesale account. And it's just, you just think like, oh, you should be able to get whatever colors. And I'm actually struggling right now. So light gray it is. So it doesn't have to always be the same one.
Anybody
I can-
else have thoughts
I can
about
kind of
that?
speak on this too, because I usually do sashing with mine. And I have different levels of participation. I have 5 different levels of participation for my customers. So if they just want nothing to do with it, do it. Great. I kind of get some colors that they like. I ask them colors that they like. And then I go find the fabrics that kind of like make that executive decision. And then the next tier is that they go pick out their own fabrics. But I have some like made up little things to kind of show big patterns versus medium patterns versus tight patterns, and what that does with the shirts. I'm working on one right now where I'm putting a textured, because all of her shirts are pretty much white, like this is the only, and I'm putting a textured sashing in there because it pops those shirts out, those solid shirts. So I like having those little examples, and sometimes I do like take examples from pictures on the, pictures that people are posting. I'll kind of screenshot and say, just kind of a section. So it's not, just a section, and say, this is the effect that the different kinds of sashing is doing. Here again, sometimes they don't care, whatever, do it up. And I kind of look at the shirts and go by that. I am going to start carrying wide back fabrics so they can come in and say, I want that one. And that helps me just to have it all in house, and then get that margin off of there too. Because it is kind of, I'll go to the stores and then I'll take pictures, and then it's like, oh shit, that store was like, 30, 40 minutes away, and I got to go back there now and get that because they didn't answer me at the store. But like I said, I'm just kind of getting the whole retail storefront thing set up again. And but yeah, I kind of give my people options if they want that part in it, I guess. If they don't, and like I said, I go to the point where I'm teaching a class and we do t-shirt quilting studio nights. So I absolutely guide them through making their own. So that's like that last tier. You can participate, or I can absolutely guide you through the whole process. So it's which I kind of charge the same amount. Here again, I kind of charge the same amount for them to do the guided instruction with me than me doing it. So it's just one of those, but I could have, however many people at one time too. So that's my take.
I'm on more on that. Amanda, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, in that direction. So I started, and I think the whole reason why people were drawn to me is that I didn't care what sashing you picked. I never did. I let you pick whatever you wanted. The only I preferred that you got it from fabric.com. I'm a little disappointed that Amazon sold, closed it, because I did get quite a bit of my stuff there, and I bought it in bulk. I had a business account, so I get free shipping. Being booked out a year kind of helps with that whole, like, for you, you're like, well, and I have to go to the store twice. I tend to take screenshots offline and send it to them. And talking about, I apologize, I don't remember the name of the first participant, but when you think it doesn't work, there's tons of times when I go, this is the ugliest stuff I have ever seen. Ugliest. And it just comes out right in the end. It just does. It all always works. Literally the only quilt I've ever made that I hate was used real tree fabric, like hunting fabric. Yes,
Yeah.
hunting fabric.
Yeah, and it's just hunting
Oh.
fabric. So I mean, what
Yeah,
you gonna
hunting
do about
fabric.
that?
And then I had to use fluorescent green and fluorescent orange, because like that's the colors they wear in their vest so you don't kill them. Yeah, that's the only one. And you know what? It looks fine. It is just so far from my aesthetic. I can't. But I do. But here's my thing. I don't offer them any backing. Everybody gets the same exact backing. If you want more, you pay for it. And so I just charge whatever it costs for me to go get it. And again, because of my turnout time is so far out, I just have time to order those things and have them on site. It's just remembering paperwork and me are not always the best.
I'll try to like design, I'll ask them what their colors, what they're looking for to, at, and then I'll take it maybe in Illustrator and design something with it, or EQ8 and design something with it, and pop some different colors and do that. But it is kind of like a pain in the butt, because I know one lady, she had wanted navy, and then the navy was like 3 different types of shades, and it was really hard for me to show that through my phone with pictures. None of the shades were coming out correctly. And so I just had to kind of go with what she was telling me, and, her and my instincts. And just like Kat said there, it was fine. It all worked out, and it was a great choice and it was good. But it is kind of like a pain in the butt sometimes whenever, because I'll just maybe pick colors on my, in the Illustrator, and then you try to go match that with the fabric and you might not find it. So that's the only downside with that. And then some of them I've done the same, take screenshots, send them the pictures. I don't carry any fabric or have that availability, so I have to purchase it.
Oh, you do learn over time how much fabric to buy per quilt.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, in the beginning, did y'all buy so much fabric? You're like, I could make another quilt with all this fabric, because I was so nervous I wouldn't have enough. I also used to make the binding, it matched, like it coordinated, didn't match. It coordinated with the quilt. So I always had to buy 2 fabrics. And then if I ordered one online, I had to go in stock and go get, nope, not anymore. Sashing and binding are the same fabric, because I can't deal. I'm not doing it anymore.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, it's
I'm
all
not,
trial
but
and error. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
what Tracy was saying earlier, like, you just, as I'm going back to school, you get all that education, you can go through all these classes, but until you really actually are going through it and you get burned, or you don't get paid enough, is actually where you learn that experience. I mean, it's taken me over 20 years to learn some things, but I mean, kind of is what it is.
I think with the borders, if you're doing that square inch kind of idea, then I don't charge more for borders, because typically I sell, all of my quilts are sold by size. So whatever size you want, small, medium, large throw, twin, double, queen.
I wanted to
king.
start doing it that way too.
Yeah. That way because guess what? If they don't send you enough, then you're adding borders anyways, and everybody's saving me time, because I don't have to put on interfacing. I don't have to think about anything. I slam on 2 borders on there. You still get the size you wanted. I still get paid for the full price. And here we are, we're done. And so you'll see a lot of times that like the same style looks similar, and you're like, oh, it's like a weird border I put on at that time. I was like, yeah, because I didn't want to call them and tell them they didn't send me enough. I still wanted to get paid. So I just make whatever I can out of whatever I want. The one I'm doing right now is that Mickey Mouse one. Almost all that fabric is my fabric. That's like in the background. All the other ones is from her. And she wanted
I'm
the red,
looking
black,
at it
and
right
gray.
now. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So where do you guys, you were saying, as far as like you're getting your borders fabric, where do you guys usually get your stuff? I mean, just Joann's, or do you order it, fabric.com? Of course, not fabric.com, but
Yeah, no
Amazon.
kidding.
Where are some
I
places
do-
that you guys like to order?
I do Checkers distributor, so I have a distributor account. So if you are doing it as a business, it definitely saves you a ton of money to buy wholesale.
Okay. Would you say, can you put that in the chat, Angie? Because I'm trying to take notes.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And
So when
mom
you're buying it
too-
wholesale though, are you having to buy the fabric in bulk as well? So you can't just buy 2 yards.
yes, but because
Okay.
I only have 6 colors, I
Right,
only,
it totally
Oh,
works
yeah,
for you.
because you only,
Right.
yeah.
but I'm
Mhm.
telling you, it saves so much money because you're buying it at such a great rate that
Right.
you buy by the bolt, and then it works out really well. So it's Checkers distributors, and then I also too, I guess it depends on how some people charge the customer the fabric price, and then they do like labor, so they kind of separate it out. Mine's just a one-stop deal. Like you pay for
Yeah.
your quilt, and
Mhm,
so for me to reduce my cost helps tremendously. And then but Delaware dry goods is where I buy all my interfacing. So I'm on the interfacing train. But it's Delaware dry goods. It's so cheap.
So I also do that. And my daughter works at Joann's, so I get an extra 30% off of everything. And I just wait for it to get on sale.
They have 30%? Wow.
Employees do.
For the
Yes.
employees.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yes. So
That's
I,
nice.
so I get, so the only thing you can't use it for is like, so I'm also interfacer. I'm gonna die as an interfacer. It's okay. I don't care. I'm gonna interface everything. I'll interface the cat sitting next to me. I love some interfacing. The only thing I don't interface is military clothes. I even interface like men's dress shirts. I can't help myself. I'm like, if it doesn't have it, I feel like it doesn't sew right, but it does, but it's in my head. Anyways, at Joann's, you can get a business account. And so the interfacing before COVID was less than $1 a yard. Now
Yeah,
it's like,
on
I
a-
don't know, like $105, $1.05, $1.06, but you have to buy 80
I
yards.
paid
at a time.
$1.29 last time, which I got my 40% off. So,
Oh, no. If you buy 80 yards on a business account.
oh, okay.
Yes, 80 yards on a business account. It's normally like $4.99 or $3.99 a yard. It is always that price. So you just have to buy 80 yards at a time. Well, okay, we're all going to be using 80 yards, like eventually. Yeah, except for Tracy. So don't stop. Keep laughing.
So what does that? Yeah, I'm sorry. What does that come out to being?
I think it's like $100. I think it's like $1.05 or $1.10 a yard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That might
And
actually. What interfacing do you use?
I prefer sheer weight. I don't like.
You do 906F?
Yes.
Okay, I might have to check that out because I think I have to look at mine. I think I'm $1.13 a yard.
Okay, so it's going to be really, really close, but you need all you have to do to prove is have like your business, your Facebook page. You give that, you supply that, and that's it. You don't have to have like an LLC or show anything else. You just have to show that you're running as a business online, in some way, fashion. And then they'll approve you and you can go in. So the other things you do is like if you buy a bolt of the wide back fabric, that comes at a reduced rate automatically. So I only use muslin. I don't know. I know you guys all use fabric. Tracy likes minky. I am a muslin girl. You only get muslin from me. And if you want anything else, you pay for it. I don't. And I'm like you guys, you pay for the fabric at the price and I'm hoping for a sale so that I can make money off of that. And I don't give you a reduced price for the fact that you're not using my muslin. You're actually paying extra to have whatever fabric you want. And it all works out like in the end, you know what I mean? It all works out because I'm not using my own fabric. I save money there. I don't need to do labor if I have to sew your shit together. And then you're paying full price for whatever your fabric is.
Perfect.
So.
I'd love to cash in on that margin. I did get a couple bolts like this guy I use a lot.
Yeah.
What's that one?
That one's fun.
And then this one I use a lot. So I do buy the bolt. And yeah, sometimes people will come in and be like, oh, can I, well, when I had my long arm machines, they would come in and buy fabric off of that. So I was like, that's perfect. That's why I want to stock wide backs because I use it for sashing and the backing and the whatever.
And the binding.
But then,
yes.
but then organically people come in here and they're like, I heard you had wide backs, so it's like I'm making profit when I'm just buying the stuff for myself anyway.
Mm.
But yeah, with Joann's, like I said, this is I do get the bolts that I use. Now I use the P44 or whatever.
Yeah, I don't like the
And
stretch. Yeah.
I get well, and I figure it's only for me, it's only for me. But I get that on Amazon, and it's like 20 a bolt, and I forget how. Let's see here.
20
And
yards
it's,
on
I
a
mean,
bolt. Yeah.
it is Pellon, but it's like
Mhm.
half of what I get it from. No, this is 48 yards.
Oh, wow. Oh, so
And
it
I
is
want to
half.
say,
Yeah.
and I
that
want to
makes sense.
say it was $20. I haven't ordered it in a while because I stockpiled a while back, but I need to. So I'll put somewhere for you guys if I do find that again. But like I said, I just looked up P44F
44F.
on
Right.
That's the one I
on
use too.
Amazon, and it was super cheap, super fast. I mean, I was paying $40 to get it from oh, that's another thing. Moda's like grunge, like the black grunge.
Mm-hmm.
I buy that by the bolt too, which I mean I have to buy it from, I think their minimum to start is like 3,000, which I'll do it eventually. But I buy that by the bolt too because I use that a lot. I do a lot of Harley stuff and car show stuff, and it's perfect. That's another reason
$3,000 or
why
3,000 yards?
I think $3,000.
Oh, okay. I thought you
I
meant
think-
for
I was gonna say
3,000 yards. I was like,
that's a
wow,
lot.
that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for level setting me there, one.
Right. Yeah, no, and I had never really gotten serious about it until now. But shoot, what was I gonna say? The Harley and the car show stuff. Oh, just men's fabrics. That's another reason why I want to carry my own stuff. Like even when I get baseball uniforms and football uniforms, just that blue and that red from QT Fabrics. It's got blocks, whatever. It's like I want to buy those by the bolt too because you just can't find masculine, wide backs or masculine fabric. So that's
Yes,
another
I
reason
totally
why I'm
agree.
that.
Well,
I
and
think
they're
you're right,
gone
though,
so
on wide
quick.
backs. Wide backs are key because it's so much easier than having to piece your backing together.
Yeah, I hate.
I'm gonna do a reel when I get all that set up where I'm like singing Sir Mix-a-Lot. Like we like wide backs and we cannot lie. I'm trying to get my like TikTok courage.
Oh, that's awesome. That's such a great idea. I love it.
I want to do some videos too. And I talked to the admins of this page, and I don't know if you guys are whatever anyway, but I want to start doing video instruction. And so I thought, maybe I'll just put out there, if somebody wants to join me on Zoom, we're going to talk about this day. And we're going to talk about this day, because honestly, I'd like to make some videos to where it's like, go see our library in the t-shirt quilting page. Go see the library before you ask the question, because what kind of interfacing? Let's make a video and talk about all of it, even vodka and starch and all the, whatever. I'll do it. Amanda tries it, kind of a thing, to where people can kind of see what's out there and what they want to use. Because I really, when that question comes up, I'm like, geez.
Well, it's repeated so many times. I mean, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I was like, hey, Angie, let's start this like Zoom, because I feel like those questions are asked like every week and people don't know how to search. Like they just
well, at least if it comes up, somebody can, I don't know, somebody can because I don't think you have any approval, right? You don't have to have approval to post.
No, you don't. You don't have to have approval. So
Question,
Angel asked a great.
You were the one that I think reached out to me via Instagram, right? Angel? Oh, I think she
Yeah,
was.
I did.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. I'm gonna text you the link to this Instagram. So that's how this originated. Was Jill and I found each other on this page, and I randomly posted a question about who's going to QuiltCon last year, and so we met up with a few other people, and so that's how our friendship started. But I posted on my regular page. And I think that's how you found this. So I'm going to message you, and I'll send you the link to it. It's a Facebook group called
Okay.
Teacher Quilting. It's very elaborate.
And
I just put it in the chat.
and half of us are like, we quilt all the time, and we have, well, not half, maybe, like, we quilt, and then I think the other half are just people looking for t-shirt quilters.
Yeah.
I
Oh, in the
swear.
group. I don't know if it's half. I think it's maybe a quarter in that little
Maybe a
group.
quarter?
I don't. Yeah, I don't, because I think most. It's like there's the ones who are quilting for themselves. Like, hey, this is the first time I've ever done it. I need
Mhm.
help. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. And then there's the other. Then there's just the rest of us. Like I used to post and share mine all the time. I was like, yeah, everybody's bored of seeing mine. So I think I do it like once a month or something like that.
Whatever,
And,
Kat.
We like seeing
There's
them.
so much. You
Whatever.
see
I
how much
love your
you
stuff.
see how much I make. I do not post every single one. I post the fun ones. Do you know that lady with the rainbow, that really pretty rainbow one? She still has not paid.
Oh God.
I haven't
You
quilted
know what?
it.
I
Somebody
just
would
picked
buy
up-
it. I would keep it. If she never paid, I would keep it and put it on my bed. It is so pretty.
It is so pretty.
We need
And
to
I want to
repost
put it
it.
up because I want someone else to have rainbow clothes and come at me again so I can do it again. Oh,
I
I'm
get
so
to do
frustrated
that
with her.
actually.
Stop it, Tracy, don't laugh at me. It's such a cute quilt.
My best friend from high school and college, she gave me she has 3 daughters and they've worn the same clothes. And she said, oh my gosh, I love this quilt that you did. And I was like, well, let me show you Kat's. And she was like, oh my God. And so I get to make one. I'm so excited.
Oh, it's so cute. It was so cute. And I was afraid. She had sent me a picture of all the clothes like in balls on the floor and had made this kind of ombre rainbowy thing. And I was like, sure, send it. I'm going to figure it out. And if anything, like I would send it to Tracy and go, Tracy, you need to fucking move this shit around until it makes it look like I'm supposed to be doing something. Because I am not the mosaic queen. I mean, I do it with sashing. Y'all see me do it with sashing, but I never do it like, I don't know. I just don't. I don't put it on the floor after the fact. And so but that one I had to cut them and then put it on the floor. And there was hardly any fillers. Where normally that style for me has lots of fillers with baby clothes, but it came out great.
Yeah,
I think
it's
I'm
awesome.
looking at the
you.
right one. That one's really pretty.
Well,
I think it's the right one.
Well,
Yeah,
every-
It's a
that is
really big one. It's
cool.
like red on this side and like black on this side. And
Yeah.
it's up purple and then it goes
You
up
need to
like.
repost it, because I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, that's where
Well,
I
it's not done yet. If it
Oh.
was done, it would have been posted. Let
Alright.
the woman pay. She gave me $100 this week.
So
So,
Angel,
yeah,
I
was gonna say I
that's
don't
something else to
know
think
of your. I'm in that group, and I don't recognize and see your stuff as often. So keep posting.
yeah,
Because by the time you joined that group, I wasn't posting all the time because I recognize your name. When you said Czar, I always see your last name and I recognize it. So I was like, oh, I see her stuff all the time. I do answer quite a bit, like that lady who did the Excel spreadsheet last night. And I was like, you're only lucky because you have the same numbers of sashing. That's why it's working. Because she didn't have the scale done. But anyways, yeah, I just stopped for a little while. I was like, okay, nobody really wants to look at my shit all the time because I have too much stuff to look at. And it all, it doesn't all look the same, but you all guys know it's a lot. I'll post the rainbow one again. And if so that's what I was going to say. So about payments, how do you guys handle the people who don't pay? Like they're eventually going to pay, right? It's their stuff, but how do you handle it?
I set up payments because I'm not going to be able to keep my lights on. And there's a lot of people right now. I mean, I'm going through my whole, all of my stuff right now and setting up payments. And my minimum is $50 a month. I figure you can do $50 a month. And so if I'm setting up and I said, what do you want? And then I do that math, how long is this? And I schedule their job out there.
Oh,
so
okay.
that
they're paying in advance.
When I'm done, when you're done, I'm done. And if you're going to pay a little bit more, then I'll put you a little, a little sooner. But right now I'm advertising guaranteed graduation quilts right now because it's like everybody wants to make payments.
That's
And I'm
crazy.
like, you know,
I
need to-
couldn't. There's
Yeah.
no way I could give a graduation quilt right now. I'd be like, you need to like find another planet because I ain't living
I have-
on graduation
I have
2024.
I have
That's- I'm not
25 to
doing-
do this month.
I'm telling
I'm
people
not
May of
doing-
next year.
Did
Yeah,
you
I have
just
somebody-
say
money-
wait,
Yeah.
did you just say you're doing 25 for graduation?
Yeah, I
That's
do a
Angie.
quilt. I do a quilt a day.
Yeah.
Oh, you do a
Holy
quilt a day. Okay.
Yeah. So I have 25 scheduled right now for graduation.
Okay, see, so
And
nobody come at me about prolific because I'm every 3 to 5 days. I am not making
And
a quilt.
I close my shop for the summer. So I'm getting everything done by May 22nd.
Oh my gosh, you make a whole quilt in one day?
Yeah, yes, I do a quilt a day. Like that's how I have my whole life
But
scheduled.
Angie
Very
does,
simple.
but see, here's the thing, and I did it yesterday, and you can do a mosaic or checkered quilt literally in a day. I did one in a day
Yes,
yesterday.
t-shirt though.
Mhm.
Yes, t-shirt. Yeah, I interfaced it, cut it, put it. I mean, I
Yes.
had ready for quilted it. So you can do one in a day if you take from 8 to 5, and it's
Right.
Do
just
it in
boom,
4
boom,
hours.
boom.
So you only get 4 hours. Sorry. I know. I don't actually spend much time on them. They just fly. They circle through. So
Yeah. I was gonna say I do the payments like Amanda does because I have a lot of people like that, and that's the same model and process. Because some people, yeah, you just wait till they pay.
I'm the
I
opposite.
do it on the back end. What I'm
I
sorry,
do
go
it on
ahead,
the back.
Angie.
I
Yeah,
you
I do it on the back
pay
end.
when it's done, and it encourages me to get it done. I have
Yep,
a
same.
Shopify account set up, so my website is backed by a Shopify thing. Don't spread the news, but if you pay on Shopify, you get bumped up to the beginning of the list because I don't want to sit there and have payments quilts hanging out. So if they pay up front, which I tell people don't have to pay until it's complete, but some people I don't even talk with, they just go on, pay the quilt or whatever. And if that's the case, I don't say bumped up to the front, but they do get bumped up because it just
Right.
I just don't want
Yeah.
it hanging over. But yeah, no, you don't get paid or you don't pay until it's done. My hardest
Right,
thing
and
that
that
I have to
I'm
tell
the same
people,
way. It
I
doesn't make me.
collect-
I don't want to finish it till you've paid.
Yeah, no. Money talks with me. I'm a single mom. This is it. This is all I have.
Right.
So if I can't get, and that's what happened through COVID. Like my quilters became mask makers, so I didn't have my long arm work, and my t-shirt people, they're like, you're not
That's
essential.
because you need to up your prices.
Well,
I'm
I
gonna tell you
did.
straight up. You need to up
Yeah,
your
I did.
prices because you need
I
to be
did.
in the tier. Listen, you get to be in the tier of the people with disposable income. Do you know I had 10 people during COVID who didn't come back? 10 out of the 85 or so that I was doing, 10 of them. Okay. Because everybody had disposable income. My client base is at disposable income level. You've got to be over that $300 threshold. When you get over $300, your clientele changes.
Yep.
You are
Yeah.
getting a different person. When you are under $300, say you make your smallest quilt and it is 280. I'm telling you, I am at 285 on that smallest quilt, and that is a different person than if that smallest one is at 325. Then everybody comes at me for my $600 quilt because they all have that kind of money.
Yeah.
And I don't have that kind of money. I would never pay my prices. Never. I would learn to quilt.
What's your
Pay my prices.
12 cents per inch now? What's yours, Kat?
It's somewhere. So it's somewhere in that range.
Now, this the t-shirt stuff, like the baby stuff. I charge more because that's
15 to 17 cents a square inch. But yeah, so but mine is not local. Right? Yours is like primarily local.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
I
I've
think
gone
that's
out the
key when-
locals.
I feel like
My
that was
out of
the key.
state
I started-
customers pay double. My out of
Yes.
state customers pay double than my local customers.
Yep.
I was gonna say I actually have everybody paying the same, but I can tell you, I increased my quantity of quilts once I started doing more shipping. So I ship now.
Yes,
I'm not stuck to my local.
Right.
Yeah.
And
There's
once
like,
I did that, it was just no big deal. It was
there's that threshold, and we had talked about that before, where I'm still under that threshold where I'm around the 3. I still have a quilt that's under $300. But if I was more prolific, then I would probably be over that threshold like you, Angie, and Kat.
Would you like to be added to my referral list, Jill? I didn't know
told
you
you
weren't that busy.
I told you that like a year ago.
Are you not on my list? Okay, well, I'll give me the
You
link
have
later.
a
Tell me
referral
later.
list?
I would like to be on your
Oh,
referral
girlfriend,
list.
I turn away work. Ask Tracy, how much work do I turn away?
She's sent a lot my way. Some of it's been really crappy, but
Sorry, I don't know.
Kat,
if
I
she
wanna
doesn't
be
like
on
it,
your
she sends it to
referral.
me.
I want to be on your referral list
Well,
too, Kat.
I
You
mean,
put me on that list.
I'm only 2 hours from her, so if she's got somebody that's in Raleigh, I'm like, okay, come to me.
Yeah. So, okay, listen, everybody if you guys are in that t-shirt group or whatever, just find me later, give me a link, send me a message, and I will add you to the list. I think I have to take a couple off anyways. Jane, she's at the bottom, but I don't know how much she's actually doing anymore. So she's going to come off the list. And I think I've got another girl that's going to come off the list because I haven't seen her work a whole lot either. Her name's Lynn. She doesn't have a business, but she does it on the side, but she has to do cash only because her husband's like, can't continue to get his retirement if they make more money or something like that. But yeah, so I can go ahead and put it. I don't care how many people are on my referral list. Typically what happens is the person who's like, listen, I only have work for the next 2 months. Your ass gets put to the top of the list because it's just by they're going to click on your name first and they might just stop there. And so then when you start to get busy enough, I move another person to the top of the list. And that's just the way it works. And I just, because of the Etsy store and stuff, I just get enough that I can just throw them. I'm not making one a day. So,
Lord.
not one a day.
So Angie has a referral list though too, right?
I actually have people that help me sew.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That would be nice. Like an
So
organist.
okay, let me ask you that. How are you going about with, do you price it by the project or you're not paying them by the hour, right? To sew for you.
I do pay by the hour.
You do. So what do? You fire them if they're too slow?
No, I give them projects that I don't have any rush on.
But you're paying them by the hour. So what if they take
I'm sorry.
60? Yeah. See what I'm saying? You're paying them by the project.
I am more of I'm still making a profit in the end, so I'm good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they're people I trust. It's not like people that are like, I'm just gonna sit on Instagram and scroll around like all day long. And it is a process. I can tell you, when I first started, I went through. It's a learning curve to figure out how to do t-shirt quilts. It is.
Right.
And then I think I've now gotten my process down. Like I just said, I can make a whole quilt in 4 hours, like quilted, bound, everything in 4 hours. Like I can get it down that quickly.
Yeah, I thought I was
I
fast.
can't have the expectation that
listen, I would pay a Patreon to watch you do it in fast motion. Like I don't want to watch it for 4 hours.
I do it on Instagram.
4 minutes.
She's on Instagram.
I would totally pay to watch.
Watch on Instagram. You don't have to pay. You can just watch me on Instagram. It's hysterical.
I'm gonna have to go find you. I'll have to find you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Question.
Yes.
How do you guys decide your design layout? Do you always just do something different, or is it always just kind of the same?
So
think
I
it
have a
depends.
process that I do it, and it's pretty much of it. I call it more of an improv type style. So I don't have, like, there are people that are amazing quilters and they have like, this block is going to be 10 by 16. I'm making these numbers up, right? Mine are all 15 inches wide and you figure out the length. So I just quickly do the linear. I count it up, divide it by 4, and I just make sure that the shirts fit in that linear section. And I do it. It's really sad. I could do it with like my eyes closed, almost, not exactly, but it's like you just get into this rhythm and it works amazingly. Like it takes process to learn it. Like it didn't come naturally in the beginning. Like it just took time. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years. Like I've been doing it for so long that I just don't even think about it anymore.
Sorry to interrupt, Angie.
Oh gosh, you're good.
So I have to go pick up my kids in about 5 minutes. So I may have to stop the recording. But you guys can keep talking. But I gotta hop at about 2:02.
Okay. In terms of layouts, so y'all know me. I'm like the random layout, like not random like the mosaic thing. I'm like the whatever you tell me you want to do, I'm gonna do it. because I've literally made sailboats, witches hats, Christmas trees, rainbows. Don't do that one. I don't recommend that one. No, the double wedding ring quilt. So what happens with me, the Mexican star quilt with the neckties? People come at me and they ask for something, and I got a disease that I can't say no. And so I just say yes, and then I figure, and then I just figure it out as I go along. And then like we got talked about before, you get burned, right? I don't charge enough the first time around because I try one, I go, oh, that was quick, that was easy. Well, yeah, because you used scrap fabric and it wasn't closed, you didn't run into problems, you didn't have to like line up so an image had to fit in a certain area. But yeah, I do it, I don't care really. I let it all just flow. The only thing I do different with everybody else with the random or the mosaic is I use 3 inches instead of 4. I think everybody else uses 4. But I didn't learn from somebody else. I learned because I could see it and I could tell what was going on, and I did the math myself. And so I did 3, and it also made the shirt smaller because like you have to go 16 inches by 20 sometimes. That's too much shirt for me. I'm going. And I don't like the fillers to be very big. I have issues, just little things that, you know, you get a little anal about. So that's the reason why I do the 3. And then some of them just come like y'all are doing like, I've seen more than one person do now where I do the alternating one big solid one and a 4x4. I absolutely love that one, especially for baby clothes. But I think I can see it working for like the frockets. So right, you can do 4 pockets and then a big shirt. But yeah, I feel like it at this point, you know, you're 10 years in, I'm 10 years in. It's just fabric, right? Just do whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. It's like the same thing with the sashing. Make it all work. Just put it in there.
So does anybody else have any questions? Because I'm afraid if I leave, it might end the recording.
I threw a picture in the chat.
Okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
let the t-shirts tell me what the quilt is going to be like. I just kind of sort them in like wide. If I'm going to do columns versus horizontal, I do like the height, like all the same height. I put them in piles and then I lay them out, and then just try to make the colors